and welcome to 1111. Coming to the Nolan Wells case. I've got so much to talk about. And it was Mac Daddy. Remember the whole video? I said, what does it say on the boat? And I said, if it is Katie McCormick's boat, could it be Mac Daddy? Because Mac, right? Well, TMZ is saying, yeah. And they have the video and they have the metadata. So that's coming up. Also, we're going to be talking here comes the truth train, right? So I've been gone. I'm just going to tell you, I feel like I've lived a lifetime since I saw you in the last few days. My mother was reported missing, but she was actually at my house. It was very, very confusing. Like the full force came out. So my dad had went to an appointment at the VA clinic. And my mom doesn't have that clinic. She has different doctors, but she also has, it's not quite dementia. It's kind of like Alzheimer's. So she has bouts where she doesn't know where she is, gets confused. Well, the staff didn't know that. And so when my dad went into the appointment, I live about 1.5 miles away. And my mom just walked out and left her purse, everything, and came to my house. Well, I called the clinic to let them know my mom was at my house, and they had transferred me to some big and different place that was completely not even of our area. And the girl wouldn't put me through. She literally was stuck on spelling my dad's name over and over. She was absolutely not helpful. I was like, this is an emergency. Please just transfer me. And she's like, let's start back as to if I can help you first. I'm like, can you please transfer me? My mom. Okay, So anyway, I had to make a decision. Do I walk away from my mom, go get in my car? Because mom was not coming with me. She was like, I'm sitting here. And I'm like, okay. So my adult son was home. I asked him to stay with her. I got in my car. I'm driving down the road towards the clinic, and here comes a parade of vehicles. My dad in the lead, then the clinic people, then the deputies and the guys. Like, it was full force, and I get out of the car, run over to my dad first to say, I got mom. Like, it was so weird that she walked in the house because she doesn't drive. She has no license. There was no car. And it took me 10, 15 minutes to get it out of her where she came from, how she got here, because she lives an hour and a half, about 35 minutes, 40 minutes drive time. So a round trip of about a little over an hour. And I'm like, she couldn't have just walked here. So yeah, a lot went on, and now we have mom safe and secure. And she was never in true danger, I don't feel, but I'm thanking God I was home, because she didn't know where she was. She didn't understand anything, and it got really confusing. It took a long time. She didn't make sense. She was saying, they know where I am. I left my purse. I'm like, did you leave a note? And she's like, why would I do that? So anyway, we sorted it all out, and I'm back. So I had real serious, in my life, and I was like, what? But I want to say hello to everybody. So that was quite shocking. So I do get it when it comes to, when someone's missing. I truly get it. And even though I had my mother, I didn't know what to do. Like, do I call 911? I mean, it's only probably been 20 minutes. Totally lost track of time. Like, when the police were asking me how long she'd been at my house, I hadn't looked at a clock. I hadn't checked my watch or my phone. I don't have a watch. It was really weird. But, all the things I thought I'd know, I didn't know. I didn't know how she got there. Here she had walked about 1.5 miles, and it was hot out, really hot out. So God protected her. And in that, I'm looking at the Nolan Wells case, and one of the things that I noticed with me and my children, my adult children, as well as the police and every single soul, was curiosity. How did she get here? When did she leave? There were even though we had her safe and sound, the curiosity was there. But there is none in the Nolan Wells case. If you look at what or in my opinion, what I believe is that there isn't enough curiosity amongst Nolan's, well, let's just say the people that went with him out to the island. Like, where's their sense of what the hell happened to our friend? Like, my dad was frantic, like, where's mom? What happened? How did she get there? What did she do? When did she get there? Is she okay? I mean, it was like, a lot. And we had to and it took a while. It took like an hour to sort out everything, to give reports and explain it all. Of course, I reported the person that didn't put me through. And she's going to be retrained because the people at the VA hospital were amazing to me. Like, they are the ones following my dad. They've already made the calls to the appropriate authorities. They've got people looking. There was already a crisis detective on my property within, I would guess, 30 minutes. So, hats off to the VA, and I appreciate everything you've done for my father when you saved his life as well. But, I'm all in purple today. I even put on little earrings, you guys, that are purple. In the Nolan Wells case, the mother didn't know Katie. Y'all, that little thing out there that says stuff about, we love Katie, all this, she's been to all our family gatherings, all this crap. Who the hell is that? Because the family of Nolan, meaning mom and dad, do not believe, they do not believe that. They're like, the mom's like, I've never met her. I don't know who she is. Okay, so nobody seems to know who Katie is. The mother doesn't, the father doesn't, the friends don't. Katie just kind of popped up for a minute, and then she disappears, and all we're told by a post on social media is that she is cooperating. That's got me kind of going, So that's weird because nobody seems to know who Katie is. Then I thought of Trayston. Oh, the parents don't know him either, and I never, not once do I hear Trayston's name. Personally, I never heard it come out of Warren's mouth. And I'm like, do they know him? You feel me? So they don't know her, they don't know him. Why is Nolan at this location not hanging out with Javon and his buddies that his parents know? You feel me? And then what the coach said about talking to Nolan on Horn Island at around 2:30 to 3:15. We got to talk about it all. There's so much to go over. Hey, Mystery Diva, good to see ya. Jan Funk, Grace Cal Smudger, Ruffin Rupper. So it brings up this subject again. How could the Guthrie family and Ellie not be looking for Nancy Guthrie? I'm in with that. I have all those questions and more. Hey, Grace Cal. Mama Dia, I'm so glad to know your mom is fine and everything went well for all. I will tell you, so she was out of it, like mentally didn't know anything was going on. And I didn't know how she got to my house. Like, there's no vehicle, there's nobody that brought her. She just came walking up my driveway, and I was like, how is my mom alone? And how'd she get here? And then, because she didn't know anything, I was like, and my dad doesn't carry a cell phone, so I didn't know what to do. All I could think of was, I'm going to have to drive to that clinic and tell my dad, Mom's at my house. So we're going to have to make some changes, unfortunately, that none of us want to make. But that being said, thank you so much for your care. I just thought it was interesting that out of my experience, one of my takeaways was the amount of instant curiosity. Everybody wanted to know every detail. Like, what time she got there, even though she was safe. Like, it was like, and why aren't the boys curious? Why are they defending themselves, but they're not speaking in their interviews about, I want to know personally what happened to Nolan. Like, this has ripped my life apart because this is my best friend, and I'm going to find out what happened to my best friend. We don't hear that. We don't hear anything about like that. In fact, I'm still trying to figure out how Warren knew to call the Coast Guard or even Nolan's mom, because the last he saw and heard was that Nolan wasn't coming back. He was going to stay with the girl. And so at what point did it just all of a sudden become this, oh, I now need to be concerned for Warren? It's just strange. I mean, it really is strange. And there's more to it. There's more to it. So, I want to talk to you about Mac Daddy, y'all. I want to talk to you about Mac Daddy. Okay, let's get over here. So first of all, let's, oh, we're on the wrong screen. Hold on. There we go. Give me a minute. I got too many buttons. All right. So the other thing I don't get is if Warren saw, okay, Warren says he saw, and I'm not, okay, wait. Let's do a disclaimer for legal reasons. I am not accusing a soul. I am merely asking questions, which is my right to do so. I am not accusing anybody. I'm not slandering anybody. I'm asking questions to try to understand this. How is it that Warren is on that tiny little boat, Nolan's in the water, and you have Warren saying, I saw at 3 o'clock Nolan cradling Katie. Okay? 3 o'clock. But the boat doesn't leave until after 4, and yet Warren says his buddy was calling for Nolan, and then saying, get on the boat, get on the effing boat. And then Warren says, but Nolan said, I'm choosing to stay. I'm going to stay. So he didn't see him then when the boat left and they're having this exchange. I'm bewildered by that. Like at 3 o'clock is the last time that Warren says he saw him. The last time out of his own mouth. But the boat isn't leaving until after 4. So an hour later, we have the buddy saying, come on, Nolan, get on the effing boat. Come on, Nolan, get on the effing boat. And he doesn't see Nolan then? I'm confused by that. Yeah, rough and rougher. She walked to my house with Jesus holding my mom's hand. He brought her safely to you. Well, he did bring her safely to me because she was fine. She was flustered, but fine. And we live in a really small community, so most people would have probably offered her a ride. She probably said no. She was very confused. Lanny says, I'm curious how your mom got to your house. She walked. She walked 1.5 miles. And she had to traverse our main, busy road. So I'm just glad she's okay. And he didn't look upset, says Nikki UK. Is Warren the 21-year-old allegedly? I have no idea. I don't think so. I think that is a different friend. Nikki K. Lenny, I would be asking for CTV in the area, see how Mama's mom got there. She walked. I know she walked because I seen her come walking up my driveway. And it's about 1.5 miles. And so we knew she walked. Yeah, Mystery Diva. The devil is in the details. So let's get over. Let's start going. Now I'm back on track. Got a little time to calm my nerves and sort some family matters out and make sure everybody's safe and well cared for. And so now we're looking at Saw him last at 3 p.m., but the guy's boat doesn't leave till 4ish, and he's saying he saw him at 3, but that he's on this little dinghy like boat. It's not even a ship, it's a boat. It's not a yacht, it's not a sailing boat. It's more like a little 6-man dinghy. I know it's a boat, but I'm just saying it's a tiny little boat. There's no sides on it where you're going to be below deck, so you can pretty much just look around you. How can all that be happening with hurry up, get on the boat, get on the effing boat, and him not seeing Nolan anywhere? I'm beyond not getting that. And now you're up to getting out this video strength is awesome. Yeah. I felt like, once everything calmed down, I could get back on here. I am too, Lanny. It was traumatizing. I have to laugh because it all turned out great, but what a lesson. First of all, even just trying to explain to her, she doesn't understand. So I said to her, Mom, if you want to walk away, let someone know that you're coming to your daughter Danny's house, so when Dad comes out, they can tell him. And she said, because she's very confused, she goes, I left my purse. They knew where I was. And I'm like, OMG. Lanny says, so imagine how Nolan's parents feel not knowing anything because it's being kept secret. It really sunk in wholeheartedly. Like, while I was like, the lady wouldn't transfer me, and I'm like, they're probably calling in to 911 because my mom is missing. I have to physically go let them know as soon as humanly possible my mom is okay. Now, I can't get a call into the clinic, so I'm going to have to leave my adult son with my mother so that I can go directly to the clinic and let them know before I have a parade of police and fire department and everybody else. But no, it was too late because she didn't understand any of the questions I was asking, wasn't making sense. I didn't even find out for quite a while in the conversation how she got there until she finally gave it up, and she was like, Dad's at the VA. I'm like, okay, so Dad went to a clinic, and that's in my town. Gotcha, his appointment. And so you probably walked here, and that's why you were walking up my driveway. Got it. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Bart just because I don't have anything on him. I don't know. He could be completely innocent. He's lawyered up. I don't want to deal with that mess. I am more interested in this. This is where I'm still stuck. When we have this little thing here, let me go get this. I have a website to show you. A video. But I got to grab the website, so just give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, let me see here if I can go over. I want to switch this up a little bit. Yeah, there it goes. All right. Ready, guys? Mama D is doubled up today for you. I wanted to share with this to you because remember when I was saying it's Mac Daddy in my opinion, but you can believe what you want, and everybody was like, it's Little Daddy, you can clearly see it, don't lie. And I'm like, I'm not lying. I really think it says Mac Daddy, and I'm wondering, Katie McCord Mac is Mac Daddy, is that her daddy's boat? And then we found the picture that looked like Katie's dad, the video, and then there's the, and it looked like Nolan, and I'm like, still looks like Mac Daddy. So listen to this for a minute.
Disappeared.
Gone. Y'all, it does look that looks like Katie's dad on that boat. And so I got to thinking about it. What if It is Katie's dad's boat. And I was looking at this, and it doesn't look like it says little or big to me. And I was looking at Katie, and I was thinking of McCormick, over and over. And what came out was McCormack, right? Mac. And then look at this. Doesn't it look like it says Mac Daddy? That's what I really think it says, is Mac Daddy, because it's McCormack. So it's Mac Daddy. They just dropped the K. Aw, thanks, love for all. You say hello, love your podcast. Appreciate you. Hold on, just wait for this. Well, doesn't that make sense? To me, I can see it so clear. To me, I can't unsee it. It says Mac Daddy, like crystal clear. And wouldn't that mean that this is most likely Katie's family's boat, McCormick? McCormack? I mean, I'm just asking. Give me a 1 if you think it says.
Let's jump ahead.
I'm not saying that's for sure. This is my guess. I want to know your opinion. That Daddy. I can't please everybody, y'all. Either want it big or little. I can't make it Daddy. So then they have, obviously, the girl will have found out something that is alleged with his daughter. Think about how protect.
Okay, I want to show you the picture.
Okay, there it is. Okay, this dude, right, on the boat. How do we know that he was okay and totally on board with his daughter? Think about how protective a father is of their daughter, regardless of the color of the boy. Okay? What if, spaghetti at the wall, could Nolan have left with them and then the father didn't like something? Maybe he found out something. Maybe he saw that there was something he didn't like. Maybe he didn't like Nolan from the start. I don't know. Is it possible that Nolan had an accident? Is something?
Okay, so you get my point. Now let's switch over and let's look at this. I'm going to make this big, and I'll show you this. So TMZ has the original footage on all this, and they just put out Nolan Wells case possible sighting of boat in newly surfaced video. And they go on to say a newly surfaced video from Horn Island on July 4th may provide a potential clue in the search for Nolan Wells, with footage appearing to show the boat he was allegedly last seen on. And it shows this footage, which I have for you over here, so we don't have to watch the clip on there because of the commercials. So let me switch it over. Now I turn the sound off. So allegedly it's showing what they suspect could possibly be the Mac Daddy boat. I don't know why that's important, but this person put, I took this at 11:17 a.m. before it got crowded. It usually afternoon when the island starts packing them in, and it ended with our boat being second of the 4 deep anchors. So then when we go back over, let me go back over to the website again. It grabs that statement, and then it says by TMZ, take it for whatever you want. At the end of this clip, the quote, Mac Daddy, right here, boat, is clearly seen. The Mac Daddy boat. Let's make sure y'all see this. Now remember, they've got the video, and they also have the metadata. So let's go back over here and let me show you what it says. The Mac Daddy boat. So yeah, that was that. I was right. That's the Mac Daddy boat. For all of you that got all over me and threw a little hissy fit in my comments, screaming at me that I'd lost my mind and I'm lying, which didn't make any sense because I said, in my opinion, I thought it said Mac Daddy.
I was accused of trying to get clicks and views. And to me, I remember how much I got trolled on that. And I thought to myself, that's almost like somebody trying to derail that line of thinking, which often happens when the suspicion is like hitting somebody's nerve. And I'm now like, how interesting that it says Mac Daddy. And the last person that allegedly saw Nolan would be Katie and the buddy of Warren. At the same time, they would have been like right here and Nolan in the middle, right? And then both these people, Katie and the buddy, they leave and Nolan's just still standing there, but nobody sees him after that. I don't get it. Lenny says, that's why I watch you, Mama D. Your skills are wonderful. Well, thank you, lovely. I don't ever know if I'm right or wrong until later when this stuff comes out. But like I said, I couldn't unsee it. I'm like, it's so clear to me. It says Mac Daddy. But then I had put it through my video editing to look at it really blown up. I showed that to you. Now, when I show things, I'm not trying to upset the apple cart and be all like, it doesn't say little, it doesn't say daddy. I'm not doing that. I'm still interested in your opinion. And I certainly by no means was trying to convince anybody that it said Mac Daddy. I was just sharing, I thought it said Mac Daddy. But then I got to thinking about how, like, we saw that drink in Nolan's hand early on, and it's not a Red Bull. It's, I looked it up today. It is an alcoholic drink, allegedly, from what I could see. It's like, it's got the blue on the top and the orange and all that. It's not a Red Bull. But is it possible that Nolan may have had maybe a sip of that and then didn't even drink the rest of the day? Because someone that knew Nolan extremely well would be a coach. One of Nolan's coaches actually saw him between 2:30 and 3:15 and had a full conversation in length with Nolan and was perfectly fine. There's so much out there that the only way I would believe this is to get it from the source. And in this case, the source is Nolan's mom, who talked to this coach. So let's hear what she has to say.
But also, too, it's part of society that has been allowed to occur, which is it's gut-wrenching at best. Because if you were in our situation, how would you feel if there were millions of people who are saying, oh, hey, well, he was at an island, he was heavily drunk. And again, even with the drinking, there are so many conflicting stories, only because I have spoken with adults who knew Nolan very well, coaches that were out there. One in particular, I think he told me he saw Nolan somewhere between like 2:45 and 3:30. He was like, Christine, yeah, we talked for a while. We talked about college. We talked about his life, his plans. And he was like, he was perfectly fine. Because I think it had bothered him too, that there was this narrative of, oh, he was sloppy drunk. Like,
okay, right there. A coach is gonna, because there are so many things that kids can do that can alter their performance. If you get what I'm saying, coaches are very well versed in picking up on signs when somebody's under the influence. So for the coach, Nolan's own coach, to tell the mother that between 2:30, I need to correct myself on the time, between 2:45 and 3:30, that little window, right? Nolan was fine. Yeah, we can't see, and I'm not going to buy into that crap about seeing eyewitnesses that saw Nolan around 6 o'clock until Tatum kicks up some evidence of that. Because at this point, that is hearsay and it could have been completely made up. So for me,
I'm still stuck between 3:30 and 4. That's where I'm stuck. And I think it's very interesting that this coach is saying that Nolan was absolutely fine. And Warren said he was fine too. Did Nolan overhear something he shouldn't have? I mean, I thought about it and I'm like, is the fight a diversion? Because something happened with Nolan? But I'm trying to figure this out. It's like something's wrong between 3:30 and 4. There's something there. I can't quite nail it. But let's listen to this coach, which makes a statement about Nolan's personality, which aligns with that he may not have really been drinking at all, simply because everything from this coach, a different coach's perspective that was Nolan's coach, says Nolan was like the example of what you should do. And let's listen to this. I'm not saying he didn't have a drink early on, but maybe he wasn't drinking at all throughout the day.
Was getting ready for another football season, another chance to chase his dream of playing at the next level. He was supposed to report back to Southwest Mississippi Community College. Instead, his team is preparing to say goodbye.
It's heartbreaking, man, whenever it's obviously you don't want to see anyone lose their life at any age, and but when it's someone young like this with a future in front of them, it's tough.
18-year-old Wells was supposed to move into his dorm on Monday to begin getting ready for this football season. The teenager was found dead on Horn Island Monday morning.
There's a mixture of feelings, with these guys. Some guys want to talk about it, and some, kind of want to have time to themselves, and some are angry and, crying.
Wells played wide receiver at Southwest. George says it's the impact that he made off the field that will be missed the most.
I can't speak enough about the type of teammate that he was. These players here, man, it's really, there's guys that are, all the guys are heartbroken that were here last year. At his position meetings, the wide receivers, nobody will sit in his chair.
George describes the student athlete as a person full of life and always willing to put others first.
He was a guy that never had a bad day. Never. Very, very sociable with everyone, didn't meet a stranger. He would pop up at my office and come sit on the couch just to hang out and talk.
George says Wells was a part of his first recruiting class at Southwest, and he believes the example Nolan set will continue to shape the program for years to come.
When you step into a situation in a program that you just got hired into that hasn't had a lot of success, and you're having to, set the culture, Nolan is that guy that's going to help you set the culture of the program with the standard, consistently doing things right.
Consistently doing things right. All right, hold on. Let me see if I have that picture of Nolan. You guys are saying that maybe that was not it. That was an energy drink. Okay, let me see here if I can get that picture. Let's see, Nolan Wells with the boys on the dock. Oh, with the boy on the dock. Let's see if that picture pops up. Otherwise, I gotta go open another file. Yeah, that picture's probably not going to just pop up. Dang, see, they've already scrubbed it. Scrubbing bubbles so we don't have to. My file, anything I name Nolan Wells, the file goes corrupt and won't open. So now I have to name it something completely unrelated, and so I will try to open this file to get the picture, and then in the meantime we can talk about some of this other stuff. So I also listened to a pathologist that performs autopsies, and he talks about toxicology reports as well. And he said clearly that even if a person hasn't been drinking, that if there's a lot of decomposition in the body, it will give a false reading. Not really a false reading. It really does have the reading of the alcohol, but that it's really the decomposition causing it, and that the person doesn't even need to consume alcohol for that to happen. And so I think we need to be very educated so that we don't get tricked by false reporting. I'm still waiting on that document to open. I don't know if it will, but if it does, we will look at that. In the meantime, let me see if it'll let me. It's not even going to let me click on anything. It kind of froze it. Wet Seal TV says, I thought the GPS says the boat left at 4:31. It does. But you guys, what's really weird about that? Go back and, unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but the CETO call was at 4. Right around 4. Yet the GPS is showing that they left at 4:31. So if they're still on the island, all that goes through my head is this lady saying, are you on the island? Are you on Horn Island? And he was like, no. And she's like, are you aground? So it was really, really strange. It's just really, really strange. It's still not letting me in. It's also frozen my program. Shoot. I almost knew not to open it because it's corrupt. So the file is. Allegedly, a YT drinks that beer. Was there 6 or 7 autopsies? I have no idea what you mean, Julie. We had, the state did an autopsy on Nolan. And then there was a secondary private autopsy by a pathologist, a medical examiner, that the family hired, right? So there was 2. Put Nolan on a boat in Google and scroll down. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I hope I don't have to crash this program. I shouldn't have tried to do that. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry your son was murdered 2 years ago. So my heart goes out to Christine. Thank you. The program opened. All right, let me go grab the picture and pray I have it in this one somewhere. But the file just went corrupt for no reason. I woke up one day and I couldn't get the pictures off here. I couldn't even get anything I'd done in the past on the case. So I'm still looking for the picture. Yeah, hold on. And then I'll show you what it is. If I even have it anymore. I don't even have it. You mean I went through all that waiting and corrupt file that finally opened, and it's not even on this file? Things have been disappearing off this file, though. Disappearing. Yeah, it's not on here. All right. Let me close that one and we'll try the other one. I find that strange. It's like I got a little bit of a virus on my computer or something that's messing with me. Okay, we'll repair this one. Real quick, let me see this file. Okay, let's go over here and talk about this. So while that file is working, I'll read this to you. This is what was stated and even being reported in media. McCormick was on the island with different people to Wells and was later taken home by her brother, Tony, and his fiancée, Eva Criddle. McCormick is from Pascagoula, about 17 miles east of Wells' home in Ocean Springs, and known to host large gatherings at her parents' home. One of Wells' relatives, which I don't believe this now, it says one of Wells' relatives, Jackson County Sheriff's Deputy how do I say that? Kadrina McKinney, posted in support of McCormick, and then I have received, okay, I lost my place, hold on. In support of McCormick after she received a torrent of abuse claiming she played a role in the teen's death, quote unquote. Let me click OK. We all know and love Katie. Nobody as far as the family is blaming Katie. We all love her and her whole family. She has spent many events with our whole family in Three Rivers countless times, she wrote. My family has no vendetta out against her whatsoever. We love her. I think we are just trying to understand what happened. Okay? Well, that's strange that this relative is saying that they know Katie. They love Katie and all this, right? We'll come back to that. Because I want you to listen to what Mama says.
These various recollections of what happened that day. Do you know if she's been identified? Has anyone spoken to her?
She has been identified. I do not know if anyone has spoken to her. Again, we just have not heard much, right? From our local authorities, which kind of we're glad that we have kind of taken this course, however it may end. We're glad we did because of this right now, not, being able to have that communication. I just would think with situations like this, they would be more forthcoming, like, hey, let us keep you up to date. We understand the seriousness of the situation and, what you guys are going through. So yeah, but we don't know. We've never met Katie. I've never seen her in my life. She did reach out to me initially, just saying basically like it was a hey and bye type situation. And I was like, that's not what I'm getting from other people. So like I said, before, a lot of inconsistency.
So she didn't even know her. She didn't even know her. So who's this family relative that we love Katie? She's in all our family stuff and blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. And she's also part of the sheriff's department, but yet Nolan Mama don't know her. Just like she don't know Tristan either. I'm starting to wonder, either this girl, okay, I'm just gonna say I'm starting to wonder. You feel me? And it doesn't make sense, but okay, hold on. Let me go over to this other file and let's get that picture because I'm really sure I've got it over here. I say that and then maybe I don't. Y'all, I think that picture is why my computer is acting so weird. Because that's gone. Okay. I've got my fourth file open, fourth and last one I can check. I looked at it before I went live, so I know I had it. It's gone. I'm telling you. Every time the file corrupts, it says that files may be missing. Well, they are because that file. Is there any other? I could try that one. Somebody send it to me. You hear that? Bling. It's just so strange that every single file, if I put Nolan Wells on the title of the file, it goes corrupt. So I'm having to just pick random things like I like turtles
to name my file so it doesn't go corrupt. Otherwise, it goes corrupt, and all of a sudden, I'm missing pieces. Like the photo of Nolan with the one guy holding the drink. It's so very, very weird to me. Yvette, honey, I can't read caps. I have dyslexia, and all caps is too hard to see. So I can't read what you wrote. Nolan, Eula says Nolan had a high moon. I can tell from the logo, it's a high noon. Yeah. It's a hard seltzer, and my job has those that are work events. You have to drink a lot of those to get drunk. That's the point. Is it was a high noon. So it's a slender, tall can, and it's silver on the top, or bluish on the top, and it's got a big yellow sun, and it says high noon, and you can get different flavors of high noon, and then the bottom is gray. So I was going to show it to you. Hold on. Maybe I found it. Maybe I didn't. It's really bothering me that I have to choose to name my folders different, or they go corrupt in this case. I only had one other case do that, and I'm not going to name it right now. Yeah, that file's gone. I don't have it. I had it before I went live today, and then the file went corrupt, so. Is the Mac Daddy boat, the blue top Bertram they was talking about the first week? I don't know. Let me close all these others and get all these corrupt files shut down so we can get back over and I can show you. Okay, this one's done. And then we're here. So this is the thing. I don't get this. Yeah, we've got a few more minutes. We can use this time wisely. The lack of curiosity right here. The lack of curiosity as to what happened to Nolan is missing in all the people that were with him that day. Okay. Yvette says, in Yvette's opinion, according to AI, artificial intelligence, yeah, I don't trust AI, sweetheart. I'm sorry, I just don't. It comes up with some wild crap. I mean, it's pulling from all over the internet, and there's a lot of rumors. So if it says that Katie is related to Warren, that doesn't mean crap to me until it comes out that we have a hard copy receipt. But thanks for sharing. Okay, you guys.
Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan was.
The last time I saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock, Warren says. Thank you, Julie.
A girl in his arms. Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy.
Okay. Why is that crazy? Unless, like, the daughter is the daughter of the kingpin, then that'd be a little crazy, because, you'd be nervous for him. You'd be like, man, I wouldn't be touching the apples that don't fall far from the tree if the tree is a drug lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, why say, man, you crazy? That all makes sense to me. Certainty kills curiosity. They know what happened. That's the truth, too. Like, knowing for certain what happened, you're not going to ask a lot of questions. You already know. Why would Warren say that girl Katie if they related? They're not. Okay. So he sees him at 3 o'clock, right? Now listen to this.
Explain how did you get to the point where you were concerned about Nolan? Because obviously you said, hey, Nolan, y'all need to, or somebody, not
when
you,
did I get
but
to that point?
you guys that may mention Nolan.
Okay.
The question is, when did you get to the point in that night that all of a sudden you're going to call Nolan's mama and the Coast Guard? What prompted that, right? Warren even says, when did I get to that point? So he understands the assignment. He gets the question. But yeah, he talked for a good 3 minutes of whatever before he got to the real answer. So I had to skip a lot.
Need to get on a boat.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
You guys get back to wherever you're going.
Right.
Explain that. Did you guys go back to somebody's house, or you
Right.
guys like what happened there? And then when did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right. Okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, you know, because if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in. You know, I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does. But my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we.
What the heck? That ain't even nothing to do with the question. The question is, after you get back home, what made you go, hey, wait a minute, where's Nolan? If you thought he stayed behind with other friends, if you thought he was hanging with Katie, why all of a sudden did Warren just, OMG, I need to call on Nolan's mom and all my friends and the Coast Guard? Like, why is the 5 alarm going off when you're gonna say in the next interviews how, you know, you just assumed that Nolan was on a couch sleeping it off somewhere? Contradiction. So, Julie, he was drunk in your opinion? Who was? Hey, Smitty, sounds like they had a lot to drink. Maybe that's why they have a hard time remembering. Could be, but I mean, they forgot a friend behind who died. Allegedly. Maybe Mac Daddy wasn't having it, Katie and Nolan, in your opinion. That's what I'm wondering, too. I would check in, maybe. Judon, Auntie probably got Katie mixed up with Nolan's ex. You know, aunties don't be remembering these girls' names. Oh, I see what you're saying. Where we love Katie and all that. I doubt it. I mean, obviously, she would have to know who Katie is, and that'd be a big thing to be talking about and giving somebody a reference that, hey, don't mess with Katie, right? If you don't know for sure. Yeah, it'd be weird. It'd be weird. I don't know, you guys. So let's listen. I'm still waiting on the answer to what made him want to call Nolan's mama and all his friends and the Coast Guard. He set off, you know, the 5 alarm here. We don't know where Nolan is. So what made him think to do that? If at this point he's about to go to bed and have a good night's sleep and then go to breakfast with his friends, allegedly. And he says later that he thought Nolan was sleeping it off.
Out there because he got the motor to trim down. And
okay,
the motor
yada,
trimmed
yada,
down.
yada, yada,
My buddy
yada.
Wyatt pulled the plug and we planed off. We moved all the weight to the
Skip
front
ahead.
of the boat.
We're still
So when
talking about the
When you're
boat.
planed off and you have water power.
Skip ahead.
And so all that
Planed
excess
off.
water that was built up in the bay,
Boat.
a couple of us jumped in the water. And
Okay.
Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the.
Okay. Me do I really think that you protest too much. Me thinks you protest too much. The question has nothing to do with the boat, Warren. Nothing. Not a damn thing to do with the boat. The direct question that Ossifer Tatum asked you was, what brought you to that point that you phoned Nolan's mama, his friends, and the Coast Guard? Let's see if he answers here.
And napped for a little bit. It was a long day at that.
Right. So now we're napping because it was a long day. because now we're napping.
So, we were all tired, and eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and, hang out. And
this infamous picture that I've seen online of Nolan in the water in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. What if, just hear me out for a minute, throwing spaghetti at the wall, speculation station, me asking questions here. All right? Forget about that photo that was in the pool where the kid was like looking terrified and then you could see Nolan in the background and all that. Forget that. That was June 27th, allegedly. But there's a pool party that night. Who's to say the reason that these kids didn't make it all? Okay, so there's that hour. You feel me? Like the last I saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. Then they're leaving closer to 4:30, but they've called the lady at the marina, at the Ceto at around 4-ish. So did they call that and give a false story while they were on land? How is it that everybody's coming up between 3:30 and 4? Something seems to be going down. Last time I saw Nolan was 3. Last time I saw Nolan was 3. Last time I saw Nolan was 3. What is that about? There's something here that we're missing. There is something missing here, right in that little tiny window. Because they leave that island on their boat, and then you got Tatum and all these other people that are like, look, no one ain't on the boat when the video's rolling and the guy looks like he's on the phone and they're being towed in by Bart. Who's to say Nolan wasn't on the boat before that? Before that. They're already getting rescued by Bart. Who's to say that Nolan didn't ride out from Horn Island on the boat and between there and that? But how come that Ceto call, this is where I'm just so like, OMG, the Ceto call is at 4 something? When's that Ceto call? Let me just go look this up. We're going to Google. Okay. When was the Ceto call in the Nolan Wells case? At 4 p.m. But the GPS is showing that they left the island at 4:30. Okay. I don't get that. The Ceto call in the Nolan Wells case was made on July 4th, 2026 at approximately 4 p.m. Okay. What does the GPS in the Nolan Wells case say? The boat left. We'll try that. The boat left. 4:31. Okay. How's that work? If they don't leave the island till 4:31, but the Ceto call is at 4, isn't that putting the horses before the cart? I don't get it. Yeah, Tatum is giving his opinion like me, but his opinion could be wrong. GPS could be altered. Could be. I don't know. I don't know. It's too confusing for me. I don't get that. I'm all worried about Katie. I'm very focused on what happened there. One of these sets of people had to have seen Nolan leave in some capacity. Katie didn't see Nolan get on the boat. She just saw him leave towards the boat. The boys said that Nolan was very clear. He was staying with Katie. What? Now, allegedly, Katie's boat didn't leave right away, so why didn't other people see Nolan with Katie on that island? Okay. I'm just saying, if the boat leaves at 4:31 from the island, according to the GPS, then what is going on at 4 o'clock where the boat hasn't left the island that they called the Ceto? You feel me, Mac Daddy? You feel me, Mac Daddy? Something's weird here. That's the reason they were leaving early, but they're in 31 feet of water. That's not on the island. I don't get that. They used the call as an alibi, in your opinion. Thank you, love. On the coordinates given indicated to the operator, but they were still grounded, anchored, not in 31 feet of water. And allegedly, from what I'm understanding and to my belief, when you look at the paperwork, the GPS isn't matching the GPS that they were given Ceto either. A lot of questions here. We're going to have to stay tight on this. A lot of questions. All right, my lovely Luz, that is what I have for you today. I just think it's weird. I'm very concerned about this whole female that's allegedly was the last female to talk to Nolan, the last person to talk to him, besides the buddy saying, get on the effing boat, and neither one of them have seen him. Let's look into the female because something's not right with her story. We got people saying she is, we love Katie. We ain't throwing no shade at Katie. She comes to our family functions, but that person isn't somebody that Nolan's mama knows. Katie is not someone that the mother knows. How is it that Nolan is with Katie and Tristan, and the mother and the father don't know either of them? This is just so complicated. All right. With that being said, I'm about to jump over. I'm going to pull some cards. We'll see what this says. I want to know the truth. And why does it always take me to a female in a fight? It's interesting. I did hear Ben Crump say that they were aware that Nolan had some sort of an argument or disagreement with another party. And I wondered what that was about. I heard that from Ben Crump. Now, Tatum says that was after 6. I don't know, y'all. This is weird. Something's not right. We're just going to have to keep working at it every day. All right? Mac Daddy. That's what it said. I love you guys. To the moon and back. Always and forever.
I was born to the dirt. I shall return when my eyes are closed. In the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I'm here to stay. Destiny will overcome, no, I am not afraid. Like a phoenix in the night, my soul will rise from the darkness.